just going to start chatting.
Let's chat.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So, hi, guys.
Hi.
We're here today with benevolent Myra and beautiful Bel, our friend from yonder.
From
Hi,
away.
Bel.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Mia.
Radiant.
Yes.
That's so sweet.
I'm so excited to hear the tales that you have to tell.
I've got a tale. So to start, I want to paint you guys a picture. It's the 90s.
Oh.
A young couple lives together in a small red-roofed house with pine trees growing out back. They're in Mulhouse, a dull schmear in the otherwise picturesque county of France.
France.
Inside the house, the two lovebirds lay in a glamorous 4-poster canopy bed with red satin sheets.
Okay.
The room itself is small and cramped. The door is locked and the windows are shuttered. Around them, on every surface of their tiny attic bedroom, is treasure.
Ooh. This is my dream.
Yeah, right.
I have goosies already.
I'm going to list just a few of the items in their collection. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Golden tobacco boxes, one of which was commissioned by Napoleon himself.
Good God.
Ivory statues of Adam and Eve, Catherine of Alexandria, and Cupid. Master-blown flower vases, chalices and goblets, silver bowls and platters. Porcelain figures, a crossbow, a knight's helmet, gilded tea sets, and miniatures, gold pocket watches, urns, perfume flasks, and brooches, pieces in marble and mother of pearl, and most impressively, 16th and 17th century oil paintings by Renaissance and Baroque masters hung from floor to ceiling.
This is these are real people.
What I want in my life. I think.
This is a true story.
This is a true story. Someone has this. Someone had this.
Well, you'll see.
Oh my God.
You'll see, sweet Belle.
Okay.
So the work amassed so much of the little attic room that pieces were stacked on top of each other, shoved under their bed, and stuffed into the closet. And just a reminder, this is only part of it.
What?
So do you guys want to guess the estimated cost
of
their stolen collection?
Stolen? Oh my God.
Thieves.
I mean, I have no concept of how much art costs, so I'm gonna throw out just like a raw $2 billion.
You're exactly right.
No fucking way. Oh wait, can I swear?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What? Really?
No, that's actually crazy that you. Yeah, that's
$2 billion.
The estimated cost of their entire stolen collection in this little attic room in France is $2 billion.
Is this in today's value of money or
Yes.
or 90s?
Well, actually, that's a great question. I forgot that so much time has passed between now and then.
We gotta look up
I believe
the
it's the
inflation
90s.
rates.
The inflation,
Yeah.
it's only been 20 years or so. since
So much
this?
has changed.
But inflation since 2020 has gone up what? This is going to be a really fake number that I'm pulling out of my butt. 160%, something like that. So that's probably a much higher number. I mean, you said statues?
Yeah.
How did they get them up there? Sorry. I'm so excited.
Okay, that was our little intro. How did we get here? I'm going to tell you. And the book that I read to learn all this information from is called The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. And he himself is kind of a controversial reporter because he fibbed a bunch of times and lied and fudged some stuff in the New York Times, I think. But then he bounced back with a novel career and is now doing stuff like this. But
what an arc for him.
He has a whole arc on us. But we're not a literary podcast. We're not a journalism podcast. We're an art podcast. No. So we're going to talk about that. And he got to, and Michael Finkel got to meet the, I wouldn't call him a protagonist, but I would call him the main guy.
Like the thief?
Yeah.
He met the thief?
Oh, yeah. Named Stéphane Breitwieser. And for those of you who are just listening, we have a visual slide. We have visual slides that will accompany the audio here. And we have some photos of this miraculous crybaby of a man.
Wait, so he is French?
That's a great question. He was born in 1971 and had a fairly idyllic childhood in Wittenheim, which borders France, Germany, and Switzerland. So he spoke both French and German. but he himself was French, I believe, most of all. His father had a collection of beautiful furniture throughout his childhood. So like timepieces that had been passed down for generations, like beautiful cabinets, beautiful like knickknacks and things everywhere around their house. And until his high school graduation, Stéphane was living in this house with beautiful things. Until his parents, after his graduation, who had been fighting to the point of police interference, got divorced.
Okay.
So
good for them.
Yeah, good for...
that sounds like it needed to happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if the
fuzz was involved.
So his father moves out and he strips the whole house of all of the beautiful things.
It's like, let me take my knickknacks with me.
He said, y'all are pissing me the fuck off. My son is weird. And Stéphane and his mother, Muriel, or like Muriel or something. It's like a French pronunciation.
Okay, French.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm not even going to try in this episode, but they could not afford this house anymore. So they kind of were booted to this small apartment since they could no longer afford their home. Stéphane was incredibly humiliated by this financial fall from grace as a young, like 19-year-old. He says, my mother bought furniture from IKEA and this crushed me.
No way.
Yeah. He's got some fire quotes.
I feel like in my mind, this happened so long ago, but it didn't. It really
literally.
Yeah.
This is the 80s right now.
This is
the 90s, isn't it?
Well, the 90s is when they were like in their
being
thing.
rambunctious.
Dude, he's like a year older than my dad.
He's my mother's age.
So he's really devastated by his mother's IKEA furniture, and in response to this, he begins to shoplift.
Understandable reaction.
Like, honestly, same.
Yeah. So he was caught one time, which might have discouraged other budding thieves to like not thieve anymore, but he really doubled down. He was like, fine, if I'm going to get caught, then I just won't get caught again, period. He did not think that everyday laws applied to him at all. And this way of thinking was enabled every step of the way in his life. And no one encouraged this behavior more than his mother.
No way.
Yes.
I did not expect you to say that.
No, yeah.
I was going to have like a crazy girlfriend or something.
Well,
we'll
get there. So he has a stereotypical boy mom, which is like the modern terminology that people online have been.
My sweet boy can do no wrong.
Yeah. You know, her baby boy could do no wrong in her eyes, and the world was too harsh for him. It wasn't him. It wasn't his fault. It was everything else.
No way.
He deserved to steal.
Yeah, like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Like, they were his to begin with.
Like, come on, what do we... So as a teenager, Stéphane was described as moody and anxious, a real art nerd who read archaeological journals at lunch, which is, like, fine.
Relatable. Yeah.
It's, like, fine if you have quirky things, but
character building.
The bad part about this and why he was so insufferable about it is that he was like making all of his classmates feel weird for liking normal things like video games and sports and parties. He would be like, you guys are repulsive with your lesser hobbies than
He's
me.
Not like other girls.
He's not,
I don't watch Star Wars. I watch Star Trek.
He could have been normal if he was just nice to people, but he was such like an inherent narcissist right from the get-go that everyone was just over it. And nowadays he moans to his therapist that he was born in the wrong century.
No. One of them?
Yeah, he's one of them.
No.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
You said today he does this still?
Like pushing... No, now he's like 50 or whatever.
He's 53.
It's nuts. So his grandparents were also way too forgiving of him. They were a consistent financial cushion throughout his whole life. But Stéphane enjoyed them both very much because of the money and also because he and his grandfather would go out to medieval fortress ruins now and again, which is like, you can only do that in France and Europe.
It's
like,
kind of cool, actually.
That's really cool.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. They did this thing where he was young and his grandfather would have this cool cane and he would rake his cane through the ruins and Stéphane would pick up like little shards of arrowheads and like all
They
these...
really encouraged him to be the way that he is, I fear.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think that if it were anyone else, this could have been like a fun...
normal, fun child activity.
Yeah.
But they should have known that he was a little weirdo.
He was a little freak weirdo.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the thesis.
That's the thesis.
All right, end of podcast. It's been really fun, you guys.
He would search for fragments of arrowhead and tile, and he kept these findings in a plastic blue box, which he would rifle through sporadically. He would hide it in his basement. This was like so precious to him. He like hid it. He had a special hiding place for it. He was often so moved by the items in this box that he was brought to tears.
He's so weird.
just like, oh.
I mean, like, it is really cool, and I probably also would cry just being me, but it's just weird because he's him.
No, it's weird because, like, he's just so mean and off-putting, and like, but you know that at night this weirdo like goes into his basement with his weird box of items,
stuff,
and cries into a box.
So
hearing like muffled sobs.
That's so fucking funny.
So his grandparents were not really off. His grandparents and mother were like, he's just so eclectic and
he's sensitive.
His grandparents bought him a car, and immediately Stéphane starts racking up speeding tickets because
what is this problem? How can I push everybody to the limit in everything that I do always?
Is he an only child?
Yes.
Oh my God.
There you have it.
I'm literally gonna cry. We're not even a quarter way in. Okay, so since he thought himself above the law, he always reacted in anger when he was pulled over.
I'm sorry.
It's like, what do you mean?
I feel like I know this person. Like, his name is Kyle if he was in America. You know?
He serves Kyle.
And like,
okay, I'm good.
Sorry. He would get into physical altercations with law enforcement over his speeding tickets.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
no,
and it's like just
joking.
a speeding ticket. But he would be so upset. He was like, what do you mean I told you what I was doing, which is speeding, and you guys should understand that it's me, and you're still going to ticket me, so I'm going to break your finger. And that's what he did.
Did he get thrown in jail?
He was sentenced to a 2-week stint at a behavioral clinic after such an occasion and was prescribed Zoloft, which he never took.
Yeah, okay.
I'd love to know what he's got going on up in that noggin.
It seems like he needs something more than a...
Nobody really wanted to look any deeper into his psyche than they had to.
Like, yeah, he's
threw a
depressed.
handful of pills at him.
Yeah.
They said, please leave.
He misses being rich.
The only times where Stéphane was remotely happy were when he was at antique fairs or museums, because he was surrounded by fun objects, which he loved and reminded him of wealth and, you know, the ideal lifestyle that he wanted to lead. His mother would drop him off and let him roam around museums for hours. And on one fateful day, at the Archaeological Museum of Strasbourg, his finger caught on a loose piece of metal from a Roman coffin, and he, without thinking, quote unquote, pocketed it. It was very small, similar to the arrowheads he'd collected with his grandfather in his youth, and he put it into the blue plastic box. Some consider this his first theft. So despite his bouts of depression, he gets a job as a security guard at the Mulhouse History Museum as he was approaching 20 years old. You'd think that he'd love his new job because
he's in the museum. He loves being around objects, but he's like, it's not mine.
Well, he hates employment.
Can you remind me what he's doing again?
He's working as a security guard.
Oh, okay.
He quit after 1 month.
There's no way.
Yeah. This job provided him with insight into the operations of security systems at museums. And on his way out, he also stole a belt buckle from France's Merovingian dynasty in 500 AD. There's so many French words and names that I'm going to be mispronouncing. And I apologize. I did Google all of them, but I have since forgotten what Google has told me.
It's quite all right.
Yeah.
Forgiven.
Wait, how did he steal that, though, without... Like, is there not cameras? It's not like this is the 50s.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, how is this so recent that he was able to get away with this?
Well, he says, and in this book, it was documented that there were cameras, but not all of them were active. Oh. So he would, like, be able to kind of vet the spot. And also, he moved so casually and quickly that if you saw, like, his back on camera or anything like that...
You wouldn't think, Yeah,
and honestly, like, until this one instance we'll talk about later, he like was never captured on camera.
Wow.
So like most of his criminal career was just not
at all documented.
Yeah.
And I also feel like museums have such vast fucking collections that, I mean, I don't know if he stole from collections at all, if he primarily stole from displays, but I feel like if one object went missing from collections that hadn't been on view in 50 years, who the fuck would know unless they're curating a very specific exhibition?
I didn't even think about that. Like,
Yeah.
Collections
to me,
is huge.
as someone who like knows nothing about a museum, I'm like, yeah, this is what they got. This is what they got.
There's like 5 to 10% of a collection on view.
What the hell will they do with the rest of it?
It's in like secret storage. The thing is, I pulled that number out of my rectum, so I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that it's a very small percentage of what they
So far, the false facts we've put out, okay? 160% inflation, 5 to 10%
of museum collections.
We are educating the youth.
We
of
really
America.
are.
Yes.
Take all this with a grain of salt. Yeah, so I believe that he only stole from what was on display. Like, I don't think that he went like hunting for specific
certain
things.
things.
How it seemed is that he would see an object, go crazy bananas, need to have it, steal it like on the spot, like slip it into his backpack, put it behind his jacket or whatever, and then be on his merry way. So Stéphane hates employment, law enforcement, and the human race. The only things he could tolerate were inanimate objects who could not outwardly judge him for his cringeworthy demeanor. The only exception to this was his longtime girlfriend and partner in crime, Anne Catherine.
How did he get a girlfriend? Is she also the worst person in the world? Or?
She seems like she was definitely manic pixie, like short, spiky bobbed hair. I couldn't find a photo of her. She's very low-key compared to Stéphane, especially after the fact. She's like really lived an isolated life and like tried not to do interviews or...
Is she also like considered a criminal to the same caliber that he is? Or is she more just like an accomplice?
She was definitely, well, I'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
There's this quote from the book that I want to read regarding Stéphane's relationship to Anne Catherine and also material goods. For Breitwieser, his last name, as with a piece of art, so too was it with Anne Catherine from the very beginning. When Breitwieser sees a beautiful artwork, he says that a tremor builds in his fingers, followed by buzzy, tactile vibrations that spread over his skin. The feeling culminates in what Breitwieser calls a coup de coeur, a blow to the heart.
No.
That's when he knows he'll go to great lengths to possess something. Guys, what's funny?
He's so weird. He sounds like a character from like a Shakespeare novel, like someone that's written to be like over the top.
Ridiculous.
Remember, he's born in the wrong century. So Stéphane meets Anne Catherine in 1991 during his senior year of high school. It's the first time that he's felt this blow to the heart feeling as described in the book for another human being. And for some godforsaken reason, I could not tell you why, Anne Catherine falls just as hard for him. Yeah.
They're of high school age?
They're of high school age.
So I'm going to go with she was manipulated.
Probably a little bit.
And also there is one theory is that when she meets him, he's still living in this gorgeous house with all of his dad's nice things. And Anne Catherine came from very modest means.
So she's like, wow, look at all this stuff, which fair enough, queen.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. So like in this way, he brings a spark and excitement into her life. He claimed that she became his aesthetic muse. They would go to antique fairs and like museums together. They realized they had the same taste in artwork and objects, which is really convenient because that's all Stéphane cares about. For some reason, I guess that she did have legitimate feelings for him because after Stéphane and his mother get kicked out of their childhood home, she remains at his side and eventually moves in with Stéphane in the attic room of his mother's house. So the two of them are living with his mom in the attic room where they will eventually amass this whole
So they were living
collection.
with his mother
the whole time. Yup.
No way.
Yup.
Does he ever have... No, I feel like I'm going to ask so many... I'm just so curious. I'm
This
jumping
is
the gun over
crazy.
here.
Isn't this
It's insane.
Does she wait? Really quick. I need to set the scene. Does she live like in the suburbs?
They live in... It was described as an industrial part of like an otherwise very scenic French countryside. So they live like in the one ugly part.
Okay.
Their first thievery together was in a Gothic church in an Alsatian farming village. There was a flintlock pistol worth more than anything in Stéphane's father's collection.
Just in this church.
Just in this church. And Stéphane says to Anne Catherine, "It would be the ultimate fuck you to my dad to
No,
steal
he
this
did not.
pistol."
Did he really say those words?
Yeah, he said that.
In French.
I wish I could speak French right now.
be.
It would be.
He's just trying to like
ultimate
one-up
fuck
his
you.
dad the whole
My
time.
dad. Oh,
I could scream. So Anne Catherine, in one pivotal, fateful moment, encourages him to take the pistol.
I'm just a cool, fun girl.
I'm just so cool. I'm not like a, yeah.
So you look so hot taking that. Oh my God.
God, you have a gun.
So brave. So he opens the unlocked glass case and slips it into his backpack. And that's something he says a lot. He says most of the time, these glass display cases, at least in Europe, I don't know about America, especially like after this whole story, I don't know the state of it now, but most things were just unlocked or like very casually, haphazardly like put up because there was this sense of mutual respect that I guess museums were just a little bit too trusting of the people that visited them. They were like, we're trying to share art with you. Like, no one's going to be so selfish as to take this. Like,
Who would do that?
When he gets home, he decides that this is the first item that he's stolen that's too precious for the blue box. And so he starts sleeping next to it and kissing it every night.
That's the great.
He starts
I'm
kissing
picturing
it
him like
good
whispering
night.
sweet nothings to that Glock.
He's like, shh.
It's all right.
Yeah. Like he's and meanwhile, Anne Catherine is living with them. So she's in the bed as well.
She's like right.
So 9 months later, they do it again. They stole a crossbow from a museum that Stéphane had visited in his youth. And this time the press wrote about their crime. Before this, there was no
one said shit.
Yeah, because it was so random. Like the items, he wasn't going after like Picasso or like Da Vinci or anything.
How the fuck do you put a crossbow in your backpack at a major museum?
That's a great question. He didn't. For this one, he was a little bit crazy out there with it. He noticed that there was a window near the exhibition, so he grabbed the crossbow, scuttled across the way, dropped it out of the window, and then went outside the museum and picked it up outside.
And just walked away.
And then just walked away.
In doing art handling, you have to be so fucking delicate with every, like, they're like, whoa, don't breathe.
Yeah.
Don't breathe. Hold your breath.
Well, it's chemical. Like, it's down to a chemical science.
Truly.
Yeah.
Especially because so many objects are so old. That's insane that it didn't break.
Yeah, it's
That is
crazy.
insane.
What, made of wood?
Yes.
It's an old crossbow made of wood that he dropped out of a fucking window. It probably would have broke when it was made.
Yeah, I know. So that's so many like weird miracle things happened in this story where like he should have been caught immediately, and yet for some reason
that is insane that he was not caught.
I know. They start scrapbooking every article that's written about them throughout their criminal careers because that's very on brand for
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Honestly, same. I would do that.
Stéphane is sure that any police officer in their right mind would, if they did get caught, they would recognize them as aristocratic and honorable thieves. So that's where Stéphane's mindset is. He's like, even if I do get caught,
they're gonna know. They're gonna know that I'm him. And
I'm the one.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about how Stéphane experiences intense physical sensations when he finds a piece that he likes.
I feel like he's fucking fibbing about this.
Like he okay, can I say something crude?
Sure.
Please.
He's saying that he feels it in his fingertips. Like he probably just pops a boner. He's probably popping a boner, doesn't want to outward be like, I'm bricked because I'm stealing art from a museum and it's worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's probably the rush of like being a kleptomaniac. Stéphane would say, though, rather, that he has something called Stendhal syndrome, which is a condition where one is overwhelmed by art in a divine way. This syndrome can lead to feeling faint, heart palpitations, and memory loss. This is not in the official list of mental disorders recognized by psychiatrists and doctors. And the cure for this phenomenon is to just stay away from art for a little while. Back in the day when people would like go see a masterpiece.
They'd like react emotionally.
They'd be like, oh my God. But like, I totally understand.
Right.
And so if they felt faint or whatever, and they would go to the doctor and be like, I'm feeling this way. And the old-timey doctors would literally say, okay, just like, don't go to the museum for a while and you'll be fine.
Do some breathing exercises.
And they were totally fine.
Maybe go sit down.
Yeah. Go eat something.
Maybe be calm.
Lots of other people are not convinced that this is real or Stéphane's plight. They just think that he gets a rush from stealing, which we just talked about. He's absolutely furious at these assessments. He feels as though the common people are just aesthetically impotent and incapable of understanding his far superior relationship with art. A Swiss psychotherapist named Michael Schmidt says that the most extraordinary thing about Stéphane Breitwieser is that he is so ordinary that he can go unnoticed.
Wow.
Ouch.
The most striking thing about him were his big, watery blue eyes.
Wow.
Wide with unrestrained wonder in the presence of beauty, quick to leak tears of joy or of sorrow. He cries quite a lot. And that's a quote from the book. Schmidt claims that Stéphane is a narcissist who believes he is an actual seer, one of the few chosen by a higher power to bend the law in order to pursue what he deems as beautiful. He sees his crimes as victimless. He does not respect authority. He claims that the story of art is a story of stealing, which is kind of true.
That is a little true.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But in his case, he uses it to say, like, everyone's stealing anyway, so, like, I'm just rescuing the art from this stolen institution, when in reality, at least in the institutions that are still evil in their own way, they're being displayed to the public, whereas he's stealing from the rich and giving to himself.
To his attic.
Like they're under his bed.
Yeah, like no one is...
That's not respectful.
There's no
at all.
education. There's no, like...
And he's damaging them actively.
Actively damaging. There's no conservation care happening in this man's attic. I wonder if you could ever, like, talk to a person of this nature and make him understand that he is just tapped. Like, I feel like he will never know. He'll be like, you're actually the one that's so incorrect.
No, he's incapable of seeing it in any other way.
That's the entire narcissistic personality disorder is like, they're
It's
like,
insufferable.
no, like this is it and you guys are what's wrong. Like this is it.
I'm actually the best.
So it's incredibly impressive how casually these two were able to steal artwork together. So Anne Catherine is like, as soon as they start stealing together, they're always like a pair that steal. So he will locate an item, have this rush of feeling, need to have it, kind of give her a look, and she'll be the one like looking for museum staff or cameras. Like she's like the one vetting the scene and actually like kind of making sure that they won't get caught immediately.
I want to know what's going on up in her noggin.
I know.
Like,
I feel like she's probably just into male attention and validation in any way. So she probably just has really low self-esteem and is like, this is what I deserve. So most art thieves will plan for months, if not years, just to pull off one heist.
Yeah.
And these two, it's quoted that they stole at a pace as fast as any known art crime spree has ever been committed outside of wartime.
Wow.
They would drive to other countries and steal and then come back. It was like their thing.
That's so crazy.
It's insane.
They just like took a statue and put in their fucking Ford Explorer and drove away.
Well, right now they're typically, actually that's a lie. They're stealing full paintings.
How?
I really couldn't. That's where like the kind of mysticism of the story comes in, is like they had the artwork. Like they definitely stole. He would look all bulky and weird and would just walk out of the museum. And no one would say anything.
Nobody's going to know that I have a canvas in my trousers.
And that's where, like, the quote of him...
There's just, like, a square. That's so fucking funny.
But that's where the quote was, like, even though he had, like, a full square in his jacket, he was so ordinary looking and ignorable that nobody even noticed him because he was so bland and, like... just you could brush him away. It was weird.
When I was in high school, there was this young man that I knew who stole an Xbox from Walmart by doing exactly what this man did.
Are you serious?
And I remember in class, my teacher put on the security footage just to roast this individual.
Oh my God.
And I was like, how the fuck did they not stop him? He was a box walking out of Walmart and they let him go.
That's insane. Our friend tried to steal one Magic the Gathering card deck from Target.
No, he did not.
And was banned from Target for a year.
When was this?
He was caught immediately. It was like 2019.
Oh my God.
Sorry. That's so fucking
But it's insane how like some people, myself included, cannot get away with any crime. Like if I tried to steal chapstick, I would get caught and arrested for 5 years.
I'd be hyperventilating.
Yeah. And some people can just steal like this.
The trick is to just, I think, walk so confidently that you're meant to, like, when staff
like you're meant to
sees
have
you,
it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what he did because he didn't need to try because he actually believed that he was meant to have these things. For Stéphane's 24th birthday, he attempts a, quote, suicide mission in Newcastle. So he's in a room. This is a very populated place. And Anne Catherine is like, don't pull any shit today because there's so many people here. The museum staff, there was like multiple museum staff in the room. But Stéphane sees this painting, Sibyl of Cleves by Lucas Cranach the Younger. And he falls in love with it.
He's like, wait, babe, my fingers, they're tingling.
My fingies are tingling.
Babe, look.
Yeah, so he sees this painting. He goes bonkers. He walks out of the room. He listens. He's like, fine. The old bag and chain, ball and chain. But he can't stop the tingly fingers, so he goes back. And it's like the kind of thing where he's standing and just searching for a moment where everyone is just conveniently faced away. So they're still in the room, and the museum guards are like there. And in a split second where people aren't paying attention to this specific painting, he slips it and he's out of the room.
What?
And he's out of the museum. And it was there and then it was gone. That's how the museum talked about it, is that the guards looked, it was there, they turned their heads, they looked, and it was gone.
How big is this thing?
That's a good question. I don't think it's that big.
Okay.
I think it's like
he could have
Mentat.
put that in his britches.
Like, is it giving like Mona Lisa?
Christie's says that it's 21 by 15 inches. So that's like actually kind
almost
of
2 feet.
That's like a crazy painting to steal in that fashion.
A crowded room. Maybe he was just like walked out, pretended that he was meant to hold it somehow.
I think that he shoved it under his jacket again.
How big was this man's jacket? He's wearing like a trench coat?
Yes.
So yeah, and this isn't the first time he steals so like haphazardly. The two of them, Anne Catherine and Stéphane, they start stealing on guided tours. And they keep doing the thing where they're very confident. So they'll start a rapport with the tour guide and the people. They'll make themselves known because they think like, oh, well, the thieves will try and be all mysterious. So we should be like the opposite of that. And Stéphane still, you know how like he was so insufferable with his speeding tickets, he would like get all mad. One time when a stolen figurine was sitting in the back of his car, he calls the police to report a scratch that he found on his car.
No way.
So like he's so out of reality that he's like
he's living somewhere else.
This criminal scratched my vehicle. And he like called the cops on himself basically, and they didn't notice anything.
Oh my God.
What?
It's insane. And there was another time where he was smuggling full altarpiece panels under his jacket.
Shut the fuck up.
He gets into an argument with a police officer over a parking ticket that he was objectively at fault for.
While he has these pieces in his fucking jacket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
he's like,
my
excuse me.
But also, how incompetent? How did they not notice?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like
this is why law enforcement needs to go to college. Here.
Yeah, I mean,
we could get into that right
also,
now.
But also, it's like if a person is so upset about a violation of their property and like they're mad and they're yelling, it's like the last thing that you want to do is accuse them of like
because it'll escalate the situation.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this was about de-escalation.
And also, you could like they wouldn't expect somebody who is so like bullshit pissed about a parking ticket to be robbing them blind. That's insane.
That's so insane.
I didn't really think of it like that.
I thought
robbing them blind.
I thought that was insane. I thought that the scratch on his car was super insane because he was specifically mad about the violation of his property. And I was like, okay.
Like, how are we not?
There's a gap. Yeah. One day, the two of them are finally noticed in an attempt to free a 300-year-old serving platter from a display case, which I think is really funny because if you drop it, it's going to be like, clang.
Yeah, what?
Like, imagine the sound of that
spin. Yeah.
Like a top. He's like, oh, trying to catch it.
Yeah, so in this instance, Stéphane twists out 30 screws with his Swiss Army knife, more than he's ever attempted before to free this platter from its display case.
In the middle of an open museum.
Yeah, in broad daylight.
Oh my God.
Fuck?
And
I'm going to give it to him. He's got balls.
Yeah, for real.
He's got some gumption.
Absolutely.
He's nuts, but
it's insane.
That's crazy.
Insane. But this time, and I think that he's doing this like he'll walk over, he'll unscrew 2 or 3, he'll walk away, he'll come back. Like he's not doing it all like trying to. So he makes it out with the platter, but we have a new character. Alexander von der Mol, a Swiss art inspector. No, he's a Swiss inspector in art crime.
Oh.
He spots them behaving strangely on the security camera. So this is the first time that anyone notices strange behavior around one of these stolen objects on camera.
Slightly strange. That's insane.
Yeah. So, and I think that art crime, I didn't even know that really existed, but it does make sense because Alexander von der Mol knows that these people are repeat offenders because he's able to locate patterns in the type of art that they're stealing, where like normal law enforcement wouldn't
be able to
know
I have a question.
Yeah.
How much have they amassed at this point in time when they first get noticed? Do they already have a fairly vast amount of shit?
I don't have an exact number for you, but it's been years.
That's insane.
It's been years, so they have, like, their collection is booming.
They go on weekend trips.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alexander realizes that security footage that's blurry and, like, that you can't see their face, it can only take you so far. So he's only just beginning to, like, dive into their whole deal. He just knows that, okay, these are repeat offenders and we have them on camera, but...
Well, he knows that they're repeat offenders?
Yes, because he recognizes the pattern of the type of art that they're stealing. He knows that they have a preference for late Renaissance art, particularly Flemish art, which is like how he's connecting other museum robberies together.
So he's like building a case. Like it's not, he needs all the evidence before he can incriminate them, but he is building the case.
Yeah, and he doesn't know who they are, but he's building that, like he's connecting the crimes.
Wow,
okay. Yeah.
This is the first time he's seen them on camera.
Yes.
But he knows, okay, these people took this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and now he knows that there's two of them.
Wow, that's
and
so
now he
cool.
knows that, like,
Could he discern their faces
No.
or identities in the video? No, he was just like...
I think that he could only see Stéphane, like, from the back.
Wow, this is turning into a, like, case that I want to watch in, like, a movie.
I know.
Like, I want Timothée
The book
Chalamet
is really
playing Stéphane.
Oh my! He would actually be perfect.
He would be perfect.
He would. Okay, a cross between Timothée Chalamet and Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need that guy.
We just gotta, like, dirt up Timothée Chalamet a little bit. You
Make
know?
him
Get him a
really
little-
upsetting looking.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
change the shape of his eyebrows.
Yeah, he's too pretty right now.
So, in the Art and History Museum in Brussels, Stéphane pulls what he deems as a near perfect heist. He uses an objects removed for study sign, and he places. So he goes in. He notices that a case has an objects removed for study sign. It's an empty case, and no one's giving it a second glance.
Oh my God, wait.
So
Shut
he
up.
steals. The first thing he steals is the sign. And he finds another display case with items that he wants. And he slips the sign inside and starts stealing the items slowly over multiple visits.
Oh my God.
Wait, that is actually
That's kind of
so smart, unfortunately.
So over the course of 3 visits, he steals over 11 pieces from one location, which is more than he's ever done before.
And just like no one's paying attention? What?
Well, because of the sign, honestly.
They're like, oh, he's an educator, probably.
They didn't even notice, but the contents were
gone,
just diminishing until there was nothing in it. And then the museum staff was like, oh, well, the sign's in there, so somebody a curator probably just came by and like...
Oh my God.
So, yeah. Anne Catherine recognizes that this pace that Stéphane is setting is unsustainable. She was first very excited by the like Bonnie and Clyde vibe. Like after they would steal, they would like speed on the highway because they're stupid. And it brought some excitement to her life. And she liked feeling special. And she liked, being linked to what she thought is a powerful man,
In his mommy's attic.
In his mom's attic. That's crazy.
He's like, what, like 26 at this point?
I think he's around 24, 25.
Okay.
What does his mother think?
Oh, we'll get there.
What's her name again?
Myra. Myra.
I just wanted you to say it again.
And so against Anne Catherine's wishes, Stéphane steals from a private art gallery, which is really stupid because...
Smaller collections.
Yes. Like Myra, like normally... Private collections are like maybe 1 or 2 rooms or something.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's like nothing.
Also, they're the only 2 people there.
No.
It's like the person, the security guard, and Anne Catherine's like, please don't. For the love of God, will you please
do
not?
that. No.
And he does because he has no self-control. They immediately get caught. His mom pays their bail and hires an expensive Swiss attorney to handle the case. This happens in Switzerland. That's important. They're fined around $2,000 and banned from Switzerland for 3 years.
Banned from Switzerland.
And the case relatively disappears because they have no idea that, like, they don't think to check their house. Like, they think that this is a one-off thing.
Right.
They don't connect the crimes. They are just like, oh, these idiots tried to steal a painting.
It's very stupid. How could they be calculated in
it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Wow.
This event really shakes Anne Catherine. She's like, oh, this is actually my life, and I don't know if I want to be a criminal. And what makes this worse is that she's pregnant.
No.
Yay. She does not tell Stéphane. She tells his mom instead.
What?
And his mom says, you know what? He's absolutely not fit to be a father.
She does?
Real.
And, dipping our toe into the relationship with his mom, she can recognize that she's raised a low-key monster.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she kind of resents him.
Oh.
She's like, oh, God damn it, my sweet baby boy.
She resents him because he takes up, like, all of her time and attention. But she also resents him because she's really obsessed with having all of his time and attention on her. So she feels this very weird, twisted sort of possessiveness over him and hates anything that will take
that away.
That's
from so
her.
boy mom.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So she does not want a baby to come into the mix and take his attention
even further.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So her motives aren't actually because she thinks he's going to be a bad father, like wholeheartedly.
Well,
it's like she's like, fuck a baby. I don't want that.
Well, I think that she weirdly knows that he would be a bad. Like, I think that she's very aware of how weird her son is and how like she doesn't really like him, but she wants to own him.
She's like,
oh, all the same. So she's kind of she's very weird psychologically. So as disguised as a bonding trip, Stéphane, his mother, and Anne Catherine take a road trip through the Netherlands. Anne Catherine feigns like a benign cyst, and his mom takes her to what is it? Netherlands.
Abortion?
Well,
oh my God, Myra.
what's like
abortion?
Yeah. So Stéphane drops.
Sorry, I'm ready.
Stéphane drops her and his mother off at an appointment, and she gets a secret abortion. We shouldn't be laughing, except
abortion. Secret abortion.
Secret abortion. She gets it. One day, Stéphane finds a medical bill.
No.
And he puts the pieces together. He's outraged. He drives to the hospital where Anne Catherine works. She's working as like a nurse's assistant, I think. And in front of her and God's green earth, everyone that she works with, he starts like red-faced screaming at her about specifics. Like, everyone knows what this is about now. Like, he's screaming. He slaps her across the face in front of everyone. And then he like drives away. And it's just an insane altercation.
Wow.
Because again, he thinks the world is revolving around him all the time.
Not your choice, babe.
This is Anne Catherine's, at least for this moment, this is her last straw. She flees the attic and she moves in with her mom. She gets a car. She gets her own apartment. Like, she's kind of healing a little.
We live for her.
Yeah.
We do.
As this is going on, Stéphane is calling her excessively. So immediately he's like, oh, wait, I didn't think that you would like leave.
Right.
Like, whoa.
He claims that for the 4 months that she was gone, he doesn't steal. He's been like in an aesthetic drought. That's what he says.
No, he did not.
So he spins this whole world with his words. He's like, I'm lost without you. I'm just manipulation. And perhaps enough time had passed for Anne Catherine to forget the day-to-day stresses of being with him. Perhaps she missed the sparkle of their dauntless life together as captured on video in the privacy of their little attic room. There's footage of her like rolling around in bed with the treasurer and like just loving the lifestyle of. She loved it. Like there's part of her that like really loved like the elegance and extravagance of their criminal life. Her life without him was complete, but she was bored. So she goes back to him.
Oh my God.
She moves back into the room.
Straight people.
And while so she goes back in with some ultimatums, though. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. She's setting some boundaries.
She's setting some boundaries.
Conditions,
yeah.
Indeed.
She says, if you're still going to steal, you have to wear gloves, because he hasn't been wearing gloves
this
at
whole
all.
time.
The whole time.
Babe.
She says you have to wear gloves, and you cannot. Switzerland is off limits. No more Switzerland. That's where we got caught the first time. That's off limits. You could steal anywhere else, she says. Well, she didn't say that, but she was like, do not steal in Switzerland, please, for the love of God. I ask you for so little. Don't do that. And then their lift. Do you remember their 3-year ban from Switzerland?
Yeah.
It lifts.
After 3 years?
What?
3 years has passed.
No.
So
Wait,
Stéphane
Stéphane, please.
goes solo.
No. He's ruining everything.
And he breaks his record in Switzerland and steals 10 items from the same place in one day.
No fucking way, dog, that nobody notices this weird little dude.
This is where I would consider them going, like, him specifically, crazy, stupid mode. He sneaks a duffel bag into a historic castle and steals a 10 by 10 foot tapestry, which it's the same it's the same castle where he stole the crossbow. So he does the same thing where he drops the tapestry out of the window and goes back
and gets it. Oh,
literally.
How the
So this is where the scale, like, he starts stealing bigger and bigger things. He steals an 150-pound, 4-foot statue of the Virgin Mary out of St. Sebastian's Chapel.
What the can't blame him for that one, to be honest.
This is, like, for me, this scene specifically looks at, like, something out of Dracula where, like, there's lightning and he's, like, dragging it through the mud into his car. Into Anne Catherine's car, by the way.
What?
He's using her car to steal... Yeah, because he's unemployed.
He's just by himself doing this?
He's by himself. This is when he starts going solo, and Anne Catherine's sort of not asking questions because she doesn't want to know.
Wait, how? Sorry.
But things are just appearing in their apartment, and she's like, they don't even have room to display these pieces anymore because, like the tapestry.
They're in an attic.
The tapestry requires 100 square feet of wall
10
space.
by 10.
Yeah, to display, which they don't have. So it gets shoved under their bed. They can't even see it. Like,
there's not even room for that in here.
No. So this is where the works are seriously being mistreated. The paintings are all starting to warp.
No.
He tries to restore them with super glue.
No.
In ways that curators describe as brutal.
Oh, man.
Ceramic platters are slipping from the wall and shattering.
No.
They begin tripping and crushing items under their feet.
This is
just
making
from
They
walking
have that
around.
much stuff.
They have that much stuff.
This is making me sad.
Yeah.
This is so sad.
It's insane. Yeah. So again, like, Stéphane, throughout his entire life, defends himself by constantly saying how deeply he loves art. He wants to protect art. He wants to rescue art away.
Rescuing art from these institutions that are exploiting it.
And
Babe.
like, yeah. So this is just a lie because he's trying to mask his addiction to stealing
Truly.
as something virtuous because it's the only way that he can, like, grapple
Rationalize
with that.
it. Yeah.
Anne Catherine at this point describes his stealing as dirty and maniacal. He's descending into hoarding. He's becoming, like, just
A hoarder of the
of-
most expensive things.
And the fact that he can do that
Fucking
like, that's
insane.
crazy. And so Anne Catherine, remember how, like, in the beginning they bonded over having the same aesthetic taste? Like, Stéphane would only really steal things that he had, like, a reaction to and whatever. Now Anne Catherine, like, thinks that the work he's bringing back is ugly. Like, it's just kind of like he's not even considering the
Not doing
flow
it
of the
for her
room anymore. Yeah.
He's not considering the feng shui.
Feng shui.
Yeah, come on. The book describes that he's gorging on artwork at this point so excessively that Anne Catherine, like it's happening so often that she can just ignore it. Like, it's a constant.
That's crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is one of the craziest things you've ever told me.
So Stéphane steals a bugle. Guess from where?
A bugle is a horn.
No, guess where he stole it
No, but
from.
like a bugle is a horn.
Yes, a bugle is a horn.
Prague.
Where's he not allowed to go?
Oh,
Switzerland.
Of course.
Yeah.
We should have known.
So he's stealing from the Richard Wagner Museum in Switzerland, which Anne Catherine thinks is stupid for 3 reasons. 1, they already have a bugle in their collection. 2, it's in Switzerland. And 3, he doesn't wear gloves.
He's still not wearing gloves?
No.
He's like, I need to feel it.
Yeah, like, or he's just, because he steals so impulsively that he's not going to take time to put on gloves. And also that's noticeable.
Yeah.
Like if some dude puts so...
They're going to fingerprint his ass.
Well, he comes back after stealing the bugle, shows Anne Catherine. He's like, oh my God, look at this thing. Isn't it awesome? And she's like, oh my God. So she drives them both all the way back to Switzerland.
No.
She goes inside the museum to wipe down his prints. While she's inside, Stéphane's outside by her car. He's wearing his green jacket, which one of the employees recognizes from the bugle heist, which occurred just the day before.
Oh my God. It's happening.
The police are called.
Yes.
And he is arrested.
Let's go. Wait, where's Anne?
Anne is not arrested.
Oh.
She's inside the museum while this is happening. And the book describes this as like a movie, very cinematic. He's standing by the car, like looking towards the museum, and he sees her running outside, like waving at him, like trying to alert him of something. And then right after that, the police like flip him around and like arrest him.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's what happened, but that's like sort of the cinematic version of it.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, so new character alert. Detective Roland Meyer is sicked on this case. He is pressuring Stéphane to confess or to give up any accomplices. And again, at this point, they don't know the extent of this guy's crimes. They just know, they only have the other Switzerland heist to link him to. So they know that he's done it at least one time before.
Okay.
But they don't know anything else. So Meyer is like begging him to confess, trying to like use all his psycho whatever on him. Stéphane refuses. He is kept in a really depressing cell, which like, you know this guy. He was mad about the IKEA furniture. So this is like his nightmare. He writes to Anne Catherine, I feel far away from everything and everyone. The world has abandoned me. I suffer constantly. I am regretful. I cry and cry some more.
Sniveling buffoon.
Seriously.
Me when I'm having just like a bad day.
You writing Zoe like
Texting her like, this is the worst day of my life.
So Stéphane tries to appease Meyer by spinning a big yarn about how he swears he was going to return the bugle.
What?
He'd gotten it for his mother, but he'd felt so guilty afterwards, so he came back just to return it. And so Meyer is not convinced. For the past 23 days, while Stéphane is being held in jail, Meyer has been waiting for an international search warrant to pass.
Oh, for his house?
This would grant him access to his mother's house.
Oh, yes.
And his attic.
I'm really excited.
Stéphane has no idea that this is going on. When it finally passes, Meyer and his team visit Mole House, where the attic room is, expecting the big break they've been waiting for. Stéphane's mother answers the door, pale-faced, insisting there's nothing for them to find.
Okay.
Can you guess what they found?
Nothing?
Nothing.
They find nothing.
What? What do you mean? What?
The attic walls are bare.
What?
Completely bare. Not even like a mark of tape or like any hanging material, like complete, no evidence at all.
What the fuck?
So the search was an utter disappointment, which is like so frustrating.
Literally what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hide like 10 years of...
Well.
Oh, please.
Well, you don't. We have a new character as well. Little character.
Little character.
Here enters an old man named James Lance.
James Lance.
Who's taking a walk by the canal one night, about a week after Stéphane's arrest, and he notices something in the water. No way. Upon inspection, he realizes it's a chalice from 1619.
No way she threw it in the fucking river.
He starts raking more and more precious items out of this canal, and eventually he calls the police because there's so much shit in the water.
This is so sad.
That's so sad. So he destroyed.
I cannot believe this.
Yeah. The police have to partially drain the canal to collect the 107 items dumped inside. And this is not even all of the collection.
I'm gobsmacked.
Yeah.
What did they think was going to happen to it? Where would it go?
All of these items were photographed and reported stolen. So now like all the institutions are like, oh, yep, that's ours. That's ours. That's the thing that was stolen. Meyer realized that like this happened kind of close to Stéphane's house, and he didn't have any evidence, but he had a hunch that maybe this was him.
Okay.
So during a meeting with Stéphane, Myra's at the end of his rope, and Stéphane is too. Stéphane's been in this cell for far too long, so he thinks. Myra pulls out one of these photos of an item from the canal, and he says, "We know that you stole this. Just confess to this, and we'll let you go."
I mean, can they technically not do that?
I don't know. This is Europe.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know the rules, but this is what he did.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
So,
get his ass.
Desperate and hopeless, Stéphane confesses.
Oh.
Myra pulls out another photo. "Confess to this, and you can go home."
No.
And then he pulls out another photo.
Oh my God.
And another photo. And he pulls out up to 107 photographs of every item that was in the canal. Stéphane confesses to every single one.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Stéphane even says, like, this isn't even all of it. Stéphane, like, admits. He relents to the whole thing. Because now...
At this point.
Now, this is, like, kind of his glorious moment where he can reveal his brilliance to the world. So he's like, only 107?
Where are the rest of them?
Yeah. So he's moved to a shittier jail near Geneva, and he finally meets Alexander Vandermold. Remember him? The art crime specialist who's been waiting for 6 years to catch this guy. And Vandermold's smart. So he starts by relating to Stéphane. He's like, "You and I are both collectors. Like, you get it. These are beautiful items. I totally think, like, it's super rad and cool how you did all this stuff. Like, please just tell me your secrets." Like, he really, appeals to...
Stéphane's narcissist ass is, like, twirling his hair like, yeah, like...
Stéphane likes this a lot. He spirals into his tales of thievery, and he goes into grave detail. He even sketches out...
Stupid.
He sketches out some of his heists, like the floor plans and, like, what he actually did. Like, he went above and beyond in confessing and proving that he was the one that did these crimes. Yeah, he confesses to a number of thefts that weren't included in the canal find, specifically 69 Renaissance paintings, which were not in the canal. And by the way, they pulled the items from the canal. Most of them were able to be, like, fully restored.
Oh my God.
So they're okay. Like, they found them kind of fast enough
that it was
that they could
endured.
Yeah.
God.
They were still damaged from, like, being held with Stéphane for so long. But so far, Stéphane has been trying to keep Anne-Catherine as innocent of a character as possible, even though law professionals, like, they knew of her.
Okay.
And, like, they knew that he was working with a partner. Like, they knew that she was part of it. They just didn't know to what extent. So to appease Stéphane, Vandermold, like, plays along. But as soon as he finds out about the Renaissance paintings, he needs to find them because those are, like, the most important things.
Right.
And so he brings in his mother and girlfriend to question them about the location. Because Stéphane also says, he's like, "I did not throw away any of these things." When he found out that they were gone from his house, he was devastated. He was like, "What?"
Like, where are they?
He was completely
So
devastated.
that wasn't at all calculated from him.
No.
That was...
He had no part in it. He did not know who did it or,
was
like,
just,
why. Yeah.
Was it Anne and his mother?
Well, they bring his mother in first, and Stéphane's in the room. And they're like, "So we know about all the art and the paintings." And his mom's like, "What paintings?" And Stéphane even says, "Mom, like, they know."
I told them everything.
Yeah.
Don't
and she's
even
like,
worry about
"What?" She's just playing confused the whole time. Anne-Catherine, on the other hand, keeps her statements very brief. Like, she just doesn't, she kind of pleads the fifth. She's like, meh. Eventually, in 2002, his mother is arrested and finally admits that she was the one who cleaned out the whole attic.
Oh my God.
She calls it her crisis, but does not elaborate further. Stéphane has an idea of how the night went down. People think that this is the case, like, this is what happened, but, like, we don't have, like, a video evidence or, like, anything. But this is the whatever. He believes that Anne-Catherine went home the night that Stéphane was arrested and told his mother what happened. For the first time, his mother goes to the attic. She feels as though her unemployed adult child might have just ruined her life. And in a fits of rage, his mother begins destroying the artwork. She rips the paintings from the walls. She shoves the metal junk, quote unquote, into garbage bags.
Metal junk.
Yeah. This is all like, okay, so she didn't relay this quote for quote, but, like, by the way that she talks about the artwork, this is how she's resentful. She, like...
Had she not gone into the attic for years, she was like, I don't know what the fuck he gets up to up there.
Well, she claims that she didn't know, but, like, they were dragging 150-pound statues up there.
Right.
Like she knew what was going on.
Yeah.
So she thinks that this is all junk. She's throwing him into the canal. She's throwing him into garbage bags. They don't know if Anne Catherine helped. They don't know. Or if she even knew that the mom was doing all this. Stéphane does think that Anne Catherine helped because there's no way his mom could have moved the heavy stuff. The tapestry is discovered in a roadside ditch. His mother takes the rest of the oil paintings, numbering over 60, into the forest. She throws them all into a stack and sets them on fire.
No, she did not.
Fucking way.
Oh my God, these people are fucking crazy.
She says to the police, I wanted to hurt my son, to punish him for all the hurt he caused me. That's why I destroyed everything that belonged to him.
Let me ask her something really quick. Does she, let me just ask her. Did she realize that those never belonged to him? They weren't his. They actually probably took somebody months and months, maybe years to paint back a long time ago.
She could only see life in terms of her son. Like in terms of Stéphane.
I think that's a trait that he inherited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like her more somehow.
She's so insufferable. Because like she just destroyed. She's selfish too. Because if she cared about any like reparations or anything, she would have just called someone and turned him in.
And then he would have suffered even more.
And like saved the artwork. Yeah.
He was already in jail. He already got arrested. She could have just picked up the phone and been like, LOL, oops.
It's insane. So Stéphane is sentenced to 4 years in prison, as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. Yeah, this is Europe.
Say that one more time.
This is Switzerland.
Switzerland, they have like, I bet he had a cushy-ass jail cell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, compared to America?
3 meals
he's
a day
fine.
with snacks.
With snacks. He probably got massaged.
TV time.
TV time.
Yeah, screen time.
Flowers. One day he's brought up for a trial, and he finally sees Anne Catherine after like years of not speaking to her because he's tried to reach out. She's not answered the call. She's like completely distanced herself from him.
Good for her.
About time.
Yeah. She was instructed also not to reach out to him because like they wanted to wait and to like talk to them separately and then wait to bring them together for the trial. Stéphane, up until this point, admitted that Anne like knew about the crimes but was not an active participant. Like he was very protective of her. Like at least he didn't throw her under the bus. But he never implicated her more than necessary. Anne Catherine, though, she went too far. She claimed that she didn't even know anything about the thefts.
Oh.
Girl.
Yeah. And like barely even dated him, which is like,
oh my God.
Come on. Stéphane doesn't really take it personally. He's like, we're meant to be. We love each other. We're going to be together. Like he's got faith. Yeah. When Anne Catherine testifies, she drops a fucking bombshell. She says she's the mother of a 19-month-old son, which means that only 10 months after his arrest, someone else had gotten her pregnant. And it's too much for Stéphane's lizard brain to understand. Like, he cannot.
He's like, what?
Oh, this
is insane. They're so
I wish people could see my
messy.
eyes. I'm like,
They're so messy.
I don't even know what to say.
Jaw slacked,
eyes bulged, eating
fully
popcorn from my lap. Wish I was there.
But they're like, yeah, I wish I was there too, because this was a messy trial. Like, they were yelling at each other. Like, he was yelling at her outwardly. She denied ever being with him on road trips, or like, she like basically erased their entire relationship. Stéphane explodes in the middle of court. He's like contradicting her. He's like, what about that vacation we took together that one time and all the gifts I've given you, and how like, even though I never proposed to you, we were like basically engaged. And then loudly he was like, I'm not the one who had a baby behind your back. And she turns around and she goes, why would I ever have a baby with a monster like you?
Ooh.
So jail is messy. It's messy. The girls are fighting.
I love it.
Anne Catherine only spends one night in jail, and her record is expunged after that.
Wow.
So she's like able to like live her life.
She's fine.
She seems to have like completely rehabilitated herself. Stéphane and his mother continue their twisted relationship even after the horrifying stint in court, where she like exploded and she was like, I hate my son. I hate my son.
What?
It's messy.
In front of him?
In front of everyone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like she was crazy on the stand because she was like, I don't know anything. And then she would turn around and go, oh yeah, all those paintings that he was bringing upstairs. And then she would go, my son is my life. And then she was like, I hate my son. So
why?
Girl.
Why did they even need to have a trial?
I don't. Wow. Well, I think maybe there were lots of, because the thieveries like happened across so many places, they had to maybe do some extra stuff.
Due process and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his mom, though, after this, forgives him. Stéphane says, she kisses me and hugs me and says she forgives me, as she always has. When he gets out of prison after 4 years, she pays for his apartment.
No, what?
Yep. A friend of his mother's introduces him to Stephanie. Stéphane and Stephanie.
Shut up.
And the two of them start a relationship and move in together. He gets a hefty book deal and takes a new lease on life as an art security consultant. He was like, I've stolen from all y'all. Now you get to hire me and I'll tell you.
Because he knows the ways of the trade, it seems. This is preposterous.
I cannot believe a single thing you've said so far. I literally cannot believe it. What kind of fairy tale movie is this?
It's not over.
You're making it up.
It's not over.
I don't believe you.
So he has like a new lease on life, right? Like somehow he's like, okay, he's got a book deal out of it.
What?
He's going to make money. And then one day, on a random day, he decides to steal over $1,000 of inventory from a clothing boutique.
Why?
And he's immediately arrested. He does not get away with it.
Why would...
All of his
$1,000 worth of clothes.
He was like really repressed for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, nowadays, like $1,000 at a boutique, that's like what, 3 things?
For real. He was in court. He was like rebuilding his relationship with his father a little bit because his father was like, this is hard. Like, I'll reach back out. It was kind of sweet. He had one framer friend who like unknowingly framed all of the stolen artwork for him and like didn't realize it, but he was like, you have really good taste. Like, this is awesome. So they were kind of buddies. After he stole from the boutique, all of them cut him out of his life. They were like, dude, we thought this is pathetic. You're just a...
Like, grow up a little bit.
Yeah. His mother forgives him, of course.
She does.
Stephanie stays with him too.
Oh my God.
What is wrong with these women? I mean, okay.
Well,
I'm not going to victim blame. I'm not going to victim blame.
His book launch is ruined.
His book.
Because he goes to jail.
And because the idea of him being portrayed as like a larger-than-life art thief is like ruined because now he's just like a petty loser. No museum takes him up on his security consultant offer. They're like, oh, that's embarrassing for you, actually. The only job he can land is one cleaning restaurant bathrooms. He's depressed and needing a pick-me-up. He drives to Brussels and steals another Bruegel painting from an antiques fair.
Bruegel.
He feels so good about this, he regrets not stealing sooner.
What? I have nothing else to say other than what. I'm sorry.
And remember, most everyone in his life up to this point has tolerated his stealing.
Yeah.
They don't hold him to adult standards. They let him exist in his own entitled world. But Stephanie, she proved better than this.
Yes.
Thank God.
He brings this painting home and he's so excited. He puts it on the wall and she looks at it. She's like, no way. She knows.
Of course.
You know, she does not want to be an accomplice like Anne Catherine. And she knows that this is just the beginning of like whatever spree he's going on. So the book says the gall of him to put her in that position at least offers Stephanie a moment of clarity. He's not going to change. She breaks up with him and exposes him to the police. He's arrested and imprisoned again. He's not released until he's 44 years old.
Wow.
And by that point, all of his assets have been seized. And his bank account only holds €6.
Same.
His mother...
Relatable, at least.
His mother signs and pays rent on his house.
No.
She buys and brings him groceries.
No.
And she buys him a car. And she pays his gas money.
What does she do for work?
I don't know. About 80 of his stolen works have never been found. Still to this day. And after he's like out, he's, you know, living with his mom or whatever, he realizes that he doesn't have a life outside of thieving. And this realization sets him free. He plans a tour of Elation museums that he hasn't stolen from yet and begins his end-all be-all joyride. This time, though, he's stealing for money. So he doesn't like any of the pieces. He just has become, at this point, like every other art thief, trying to resell the pieces. And
it's giving Animal Crossing.
What's his name? Red?
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's arrested in 2019, confined to house arrest in 2020, just like all the rest of us were.
Oh.
And while we await the true fate and destiny of Stéphane Breitwieser, it is clear what his one true calling actually is. The end.
Wow. What a fucking...
Put him in jail. What a nutbag. The way that he... I don't understand.
You have okay, you have the prison industrial complex, you know? You have it, you might as well use it for people like this little crybaby.
Well, he's just like a chronic, like he's like a compulsive. I just like the downfall where he just like becomes what he most hated, which is like other like lesser art thieves that steal for money and like... And I think that's why he wasn't caught for so long, is that when he was stealing things, he never sold them. Like, they would have been able to find him if he was reselling them in, like, markets to undercover cops, which he probably would have.
Right.
And I love that Anne Catherine is scot-free as fuck.
She's fine.
Good for her.
She has her kid.
Wow.
She's like, there's no photos or anything. I think that his mom might have, like, done one day in jail or something like that, but...
She confessed to burning
69 Renaissance paintings.
It's so insane.
$2 billion worth of things in his room. He went to jail for 4 years. I don't even care about the money side of it. It's just like they've put people in jail for far less.
For less, yeah.
Far
if this was
less.
America, he would have been like
Completely.
gone.
If he was a person of color.
Oh my God, stop.
Forget about it.
Yeah,
Forget
it's over.
about it.
Well, thank you so much for...
Thank you for this, Mia.
Thanks
This
for
has
this,
been
Mia.
a roller coaster of emotions.
I know this isn't like classic like Da Vinci lore or anything like that, but I thought it was a crazy
fantastic,
story. Yeah.
I'm going to talk to everyone at work about this today. No one's going to be able to
awesome.
get me to be quiet about it because that's crazy.
That is
Isn't that
insane.
insane?
I don't have a very big vocabulary, but the word crazy means a lot to me, and I want you to know that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That was fucking insane.
That was fucking crazy.
Well, until next time when Myra tells us a beautiful story. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Aw. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah, we've got all the links. We've got Instagram, website. If you want to request an episode topic,
Please email us.
yeah, we have an email, gildedeyepodcast@gmail.com.
So fish.
We're official. Yeah, and it's been lovely. It's
been splendid.
Don't go stealing now, y'all.
Don't you dare.
I don't know if I can help myself anymore.
I'm wagging my finger.
If Stefan can do it, so can you. All right.
And on that note,
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
goodbye.